Every second Thursday for 24 years, Kiran Radhakrishna followed the same path to a care facility in Kolkata. He sat in the same chair beside his brother, Shekhar, who had been unresponsive since a car accident in 1995. These visits were defined by a one-sided exchange. Kiran would unfold the day's newspaper and read the headlines aloud, providing a steady stream of external events to a room that had been sealed off from the world for decades. In this space, time didn't move so much as it accumulated. The furniture stayed put, the medical monitors hummed at a constant frequency, and the expectation of a recovery had long since faded into a quiet, permanent stasis. That cycle finally broke on a Thursday in January 2019. For Kiran, the repetition wasn't a burden, it was a form of maintenance. He kept the room exactly as it was, waiting for a single anomaly to justify the thousands of hours he'd spent in that chair. While sitting by the bald, Kiran came across a digital publication from a heritage NGO. It was a catalog of abandoned colonial-era farmhouses in the northeastern hills. He stopped at a photograph of a stone house on a plateau above a glacial lake. The structure was half swallowed by moss, but the landscape around it felt strangely familiar. Kiran had no family ties to this district, yet he felt a sudden, inexplicable connection to the property. He realized this was the specific geography his brother's mind had gone to when the accident happened 30 years ago, the place where the stillness began. Without waiting for a medical sign or a change in Shekhar's condition, Kiran decided to buy the house. He started the acquisition process that same afternoon. Kiran began treating the potential return of his brother as a logistical project. If Shekhar ever woke up, he wouldn't return to a hospital room, he would return to the hills. He didn't tell his family. He viewed the project as a personal contingency, a way to build a future without forcing anyone else to share the weight of a hope that might never be realized. The acquisition was a grueling bureaucratic struggle. Kiran hired Srimati Ghosh, a lawyer who specialized in the tangled mess of colonial-era property law. The deed was nearly a century old, based on a post-war land grant that had never been modernized. Because the property changed hands through informal agreements, the official records were filled with handwritten notes and conflicting stamps. The ownership lineage was almost impossible to verify. Kiran funded the legal battle in secret. Every month, he diverted a portion of his salary into an account for Srimati's fees, sacrificing his own savings to keep the search for the title alive. He operated in total isolation, balancing ledgers and reviewing legal briefs late at night, long after his family had gone to sleep. Kiran was now living in two worlds. In one, he was the silent brother in a sterile hospital ward. In the other, he was a relentless litigator fighting through layers of government archives. He would spend 4 hours sitting motionless beside Shekhar, then spend the 5th hour in a heated phone call with a land registrar. His stillness in the ward was a mask for the work happening elsewhere. He kept these two lives separated for 6 years. He never mentioned the house, the lawyer, or the thousands of rupees he was spending on a gamble. To his family, he was just a man who refused to stop visiting a hospital. In reality, he was moving mountains of red tape to ensure his brother had a destination. On February 17, 2025, the 30-year silence finally ended. Shekhar Radhakrishna opened his eyes. The timing was imperfect. After 6 years of legal work, the title transfer for the farmhouse was still 8 months away from being finalized. Shekhar's recovery was slow. It took weeks for him to regain his voice, and months to begin reassembling the fragments of the world he'd left behind in 1995. In April, Kiran sat by the bed and opened his laptop. He didn't show Shekhar a newspaper. He showed him the photograph of the stone house in the hills. Shekhar looked at the mossy walls and the misty valley, the landscape he had inhabited in his mind for 3 decades. He spoke his first clear sentence since the accident. "That's home." Kiran closed the laptop and gave his brother the only answer that mattered. "I know." Kiran hadn't just waited for his brother to return. He had spent 6 years making sure there was a place for Shekhar to go once he arrived.